First of all, let me welcome you all to the conference, and I will be presenting the database of the Linked Open Tafsir. It is normally a little bit difficult to talk about these things because most of the things are technical, but I would like to be to present as basic information as possible, avoiding all the technical details. If you have any questions about the technical details, you can, of course, ask anytime. So let us start. First of all, the name of the project, Linked Open Tafsir. Now, the linked open data is a concept, again, a technical concept, which is the ultimate goal of internet, to have all the data linked and open. Tafsir is used here or chosen here because it represents almost every field in Islamic studies. Because in Tafsir you will find, whether it's fiqh or kalam or any other field, you will find it in Tafsir. So it was chosen in a sense that it will include all the other fields in Islamic studies. The project in general has two goals to make it absolutely vital things. The first thing is in-depth study of Tafsir al-Tabari, and the second goal is to have a pilot project for the next generation database. When I look at it, I consider it a way for the people who doesn't know technical details to be able to access all the technical information or the complex information that is there in the books. Because as we all know that more than 90%, perhaps 95%, don't have technical know-how in our field. And because of this, they normally are unable to access that complex data. And as I will show you, we are working on that front so that everyone can use these technical tools. Why Tafsir al-Tabari? Because it is early Tafsir and we're working on early Islam, but also, in general, if we want to start, we would like to start, from the beginning. And this is perhaps the most extensive Tafsir in early Islam. So because of this, we have chosen this, and as you know, it's published in 26 volumes, the Turkey edition, 18,000 pages, and it has around 40,000 hadiths, 38,500 something. So, very extensive book. How extensive it is, I'll just give you, some comparison with Kutub al-Sitta, Bukhari, Muslim, 6 books. If we include repetition in these books, Bukhari would be almost 55%, and the other 6 books you can see here. And this is only the hadith part of Tafsir al-Tabari. The non-hadith part is, of course, even more than that. If we exclude repetitions in these books, Tafsir al-Tabari will be almost twice, the hadith part of the Tafsir al-Tabari will be twice that of the 6 hadith books. So now, what exactly is all this about? Let's start from the very beginning. And by beginning, I mean when we do research, we read books. And when we read books, these books could be many different ways. For example, manuscripts, could be printed books, things are, getting better and better. Now we have the digital books. All of them have their own pros and cons. When we read these books, we take notes. These notes, people used to take it long ago in the manuscripts as well, as you can see on the side. And this is how Shuruhat and Hawashi and all these things started. Then we have, nowadays, people used to take notes. And everyone has their own way, to take those notes. It could be sticky notes, it could be colored, it could be writing, it could be anything. But we have to take notes if we want to do research. The question is, what standard should we use? If I want to take notes, first of all, I have to, to think about, okay, this color I'm using for this purpose, this color I'm using for that purpose. Only it's understandable for me, but not for the other people, because we don't have any standard for that. But the most important thing is, how do you find these notes after that? You have colored these things, of course, but how do you find all these colored notes? You want to find, this color related to that person, or this thing or that thing. That's almost impossible to get it. Even if you have digital notes, it's very difficult to find the exact thing that you want to find. And this is exactly where the database comes in. First of all, you have a standard, and then you put it in the database, and the database will find it for you. Now, the good thing is, when all of us taking notes, if we take notes in specific standard format, we could make it accessible to everyone. Because normally when we do research, we take notes, and after that, we never look at it back. So those notes are there, just getting wasted. In this way, those notes can be used by everybody. Now, we started in digital age with searches. We had simple searches. Then nowadays we have a little bit advanced searches. Now there is Shamila, there is Jawami al-Kalim, which are the most famous libraries these days. But these normally don't use annotations. And because of this, the results are not really exact, I could say. I mean, of course, you can find exact word, but you cannot find all the details about something, which I'll show you. Now, annotations, when we do this, we find exact things, but there could be manual annotation, automatic annotation of annotation you can do, of course, but it's not as accurate if you just, say, annotate all these things just automatically as manual when you read it and then you annotate it. That's the most accurate way to do it. It's the same like you try to find words in the book. It's not as accurate if you go through the book and then annotate it, and then you have more accurate data. So manual annotation. We specifically also wanted to be that non-technical people should be able to, to annotate all the things. Because for annotation, you use a system which the computer can understand. Because it's not highlighting and things like that, the computer wouldn't know anything about it. So you need standard and you need the computer to understand it. So if the computer understands it, you need computer language. And if you want computer language, most of the people, as I mentioned, they don't know anything about it. So what we did was we created a system where everyone can annotate. Almost everyone in our team is not familiar with the technical details of these things, but all of them did all these annotations. All the annotations were done by people who didn't know anything about technical details. This is how the annotations worked. We had Word document, annotation, it was converted to XML. In XML we used, for the most part, TEI standard, but TEI standard, of course, it doesn't offer you all the details about Islamic studies, not specifically for Islamic studies, so we had to take some liberty and use our own modifications in TEI. And of course, there's all the other, then you have to extract the data and database and search website and analytics. This is how normally the structured things would look like, but I guess I'll skip that. I just highlighted a few things. This thing I've highlighted this on this side. You can see how they look like normally in the technical things. But in this short text, you will have at least 30 to 50 annotations in just this text. Because there are a lot of names, a lot of people, a lot of paragraphs, and a lot of other things that I will mention later on. And a text, this is the annotations that you can see. All these words and things are annotated. On the right side, you will see how, this is just short part of the right side. It's not the whole text, it's just short part of it, how it looks like in XML. And when you look at that in XML also, of course, it reminds me of how complex the Arabic language is. If it was English language, it would have been much, much easier, but Arabic language, if you have worked with Arabic language in a Word file, for example, and you have English and Arabic mixed up, you know how complex it could get. So annotations also is normally problematic very much, and even more problematic when a developer is working with it to develop a website or any other tool. And then, what are the things that we annotated that you saw here on the right side, and here in this thing you can see person, organization, and things like that. These are the things. One of the things that we annotated is named entities. The person, location, groups, time, and other important information. Another thing that we annotated is topics, different topics, fiqh, kalam, etc., etc. At the paragraph level, so each paragraph has a specific topic that it discusses. Could be 2 or 3 topics that it discussed in the paragraph. Then we have around 400 subtopics that we are annotating. So for example, nas would be a topic, and its subtopics would be, it would be nasikh and mansukh. Inside nasikh we have, for example, these things. Some of the things, let's say, Tabari could say al-ayat nasikha, doesn't say anything else. So this is one kind of nasikh. Then he says al-ayat nasikha li surat al-tawbah. Then he says ayat nasikha li surat al-tawbah, ayat this. So it's totally different than the other ones. You want to find specific ayah, then you have, this one. But if you want to find all the nasikh, then it's a different one. Sometimes he would not specify the ayah, he would say ayat nasikha li ayat as-sayf. Now this is important because this is a question that I ask a lot. The objectivity. So perhaps you will also have this question, and maybe in the next slides I would also perhaps stretch it a little bit. But we try to be as objective as possible. Whatever the Tabari says, that goes. Not our interpretation of it. So for example, if it says ayat as-sayf, it's ayat as-sayf. I cannot say ayat as-sayf means this because it's not, my interpretation doesn't work in this. So ayat as-sayf would be ayat as-sayf. And the same thing that Shaza, for example, it said this ayah is not here, it's mansukha, but it's not really now available. So, and then ayah nasikha lil-sunnah, ayah nasikha lil-urf, ayah nasikha lil-'ada, al-ayat laysat nasikha, this is a different kind of one. So then we have, for example, هذه الآية فقط, so only nasikha لهذه الآية, nasikha لهذه الآية, وهذه الآية, وهذه الآية, things like that. So all these different kinds of things that you have to differentiate. With time, we are going deeper and deeper and deeper in things. And at the beginning, we had very few subtopics. But when you deal with these kind of things, it just doesn't stop. It just go on and on and on. But one thing that we didn't stop anywhere, we went on with it. Even though it was getting more and more complex, but we didn't just stop because it was complicated. So, all right. Now, when you have annotations, all these different kinds of annotations, as I mentioned at the beginning, you need to search it, otherwise it's useless. So for searching, you have, for example, surah, ayah, page. I didn't mention it there, but this is of course part of the structure. So you have to take these kind of things. We have paragraphs, we have hadith, we have paragraphs which is not hadith. Now hadith, when I say it's, I'm not going into technical things, so perhaps many would say it's not hadith, it's asar, or it's this and that. For me, or for us, the hadith was whatever has isnad is hadith. Now, of course, you can call it anything that you would like, but this is what we consider it. Now, with these things, then we have topics, we have subtopics, and then we have such logics. So different kind of logic that you would use. For example, for searches, I will show you, for example, these kind of searches that you could do now with the database. For example, you can say, I want something in Surah Al-Fatiha which is related to fiqh. And then you have results. For example, I have, that you will see is 5 results. I can filter it. I only want the hadith part of it. Then there's nothing actually. So then in Surah Al-Baqarah, I search for subtopics, salat, and then I filter only the hadith. gave me 712. And this 712 means that is exact number. It's not like let's say, if you want to search something normally in the database, it gives you a lot of results, but you cannot use it as statistics. This you can use as statistics because it's manually annotated. We know exactly this is this. Of course, there could be difference of opinion. This paragraph is related to fiqh or not. Could be many different opinion. As you know, for example, how many ayats in Quran are related to fiqh? There are a lot of different opinions, as you all know. Some would say there's just 50, others would say 500, others would say 2,000. So a lot of different opinions. So it's very difficult. But what we did was, if there is difference of opinion, that means it is related, because it is better to get extra results than or irrelevant result than to skip something that was relevant, because you can skip through it and whatever you don't think is relevant to fiqh, you can just exclude it. So this is how we did it. Then, for example, I have in Surah Al-Baqarah, then I want only the nasakh topic, and I want only things that is not related to hadith, which means which Tabari talks about. He doesn't refer to others. He himself says something about it. I want to know those things. So you can do that as well. And these are the lists at the top, which you just say Baqarah topic, and it gives you all the hadith. But you could also do that. I want in Baqarah topic fiqh, but related to a specific word. I use here the word al-kitab. I write the word al-kitab. All the, for example, fiqh hadith, which has the word al-kitab in it. So it will find exactly those kind of, or for example, which is related to asbab or anything. I will show you this, because we don't have much time. There are some visualizations, for example, when you have all the topics, you want to show them in bubble chart. They say, I want, for example, in Baqarah, how many topics are there and how many times they are used. So you can show it in a bubble chart, which will show you exact numbers. But you can also use it, a pie chart, which means it will show you the percentage. The 10% is, for example, fiqh, 5% is kalam, and things like that. You can use it, of course, with subtopics, narrators, person, location, whatever you want to know about, you can use it. Now here is a short video about it. So here, for example, we have search, different kinds of searches. For example, we have exact search or default search, synonym search, similarities, which all different, use a different logic. But I think default search is something which I would recommend. If I have to at the end, we will have default search, because the other will make things more complicated. So let's see. Then you can filter the results, as I mentioned, with surah, ayah. These are different surahs. We have ayah, topic, subtopic, and the type of the paragraphs. Is related to hadith or not hadith. So those things you can also filter them. Now, another important part of it is and or not. The operators, for example, you can say this and this or this, and then you get another one. This but not this. So I want this thing to be in the paragraph, and this thing, but not that thing. You can add as many, different filters and parameters as you wish. You can go on and on. Let me give you some examples. So I don't know where's my notes about it. So, but you can see it here. So, for example, it's Surah Al-Fatiha, and I selected fiqh. So I want all the paragraphs about Surah Al-Fatiha that is related to fiqh. So let's search it. And in Surah Al-Fatiha, I have received 5 results. So there are 5 paragraphs related to fiqh. As we know, Fatiha doesn't have much related to fiqh. So in Tabari, it's just that. But if I filter it with hadith, on the result page, you can filter everything again. There is no hadith related to fiqh in Surah Al-Fatiha in Tabari. Now let's go to, let's say, Baqarah and see how it looks like. And here I am selecting the subtopic. Okay, so in Surah Al-Baqarah, I want to search Salat. So it's a subtopic of fiqh in Surah Al-Baqarah, and also just the hadith, not non-hadith. So if I search it, it will give me 462 different hadiths related to fiqh in Surah Al-Baqarah. And as you can see here, it's related to Salat, sorry, not fiqh. So as you can see at the top, Salat, Al-Wusta, etc., all these things are related to Salat, and all the hadiths that are related to it would be listed here. I can filter then these results. Let's see what I am going to do. Okay, so let's go back and Surah Al-Baqarah, Nas, related to Nas. All the hadiths, all the paragraphs that are related to Nas. So these are the 180 results in Surah Al-Baqarah, paragraphs that are related to Nas. But if I filter it with hadith, only the hadith, then I have 187 of them. I can filter it with no hadith, and I have 43 paragraphs which are not related to hadith, but still related to Nas. And it says Surah Al-Imran. Okay, I think you got the point, so we don't have much time. Let me go a little bit faster. So, oh, sorry. Wrong version. I'll skip that as well, and I would, okay, one thing I guess in that would be important, which is related to the word. If I want to have a specific word, those were just the list that I showed you. Now I want to find hadith or not hadith or topics or whatever related to this word only, which has the word al-kitab in it. So if I search it here, I find all the paragraphs related to al-kitab. I can filter it as I wish. So, for example, I want to filter that it should have al-kitab, it should be related to fiqh, and then filter it, and you will have only those. Again, I have many examples given here, but I think I'll skip it because the time is a bit short. So, let's see. This also skipped. So here, I would like to show you the visualizations. How you can visualize this data. So for example, I selected the topic, then I selected a surah, Al-Baqarah for example, and I select the chart type. It is bubble chart, but I can choose another chart. So here you can see, it just show you the number of different topics, size also you can see, you can click on it and see the numbers. I can select the pie chart, it will show me the percentage. Here it is. You can bring the mouse here and it will show you the percentage. You can go to subtopics, for example. You can select a surah. It is not in the whole book, but if you select a surah, you can select the chart, type. And of course, we will be adding more and more to it, but at the moment, we have these things already. Then you can, of course, select rawi, location, and things which we are adding gradually to this. Now, of course, you can play with this data. Those people who have some know-how of how to deal with data, they can do much more with it. You can also do with it as you wish. Some of the things which I don't want to explain, but you can just look at it, how, number of hadith topics, which topic has how many hadiths, for example. Or you can see, for example, which narrator is narrating how many hadiths, for example, Ibn Abbas is narrating the most, and things like that. Top narrators, top topics, etc., etc. A lot of different ways you can, visualize the data and things that you can see inside these kind of things as you wish. locations, persons, organizations, and tectonical locations, the summarized topics, and that's about these visualizations. Now, this is just the beginning. We have annotation system, which has a lot of different things, as some of them I mentioned, some of them not. We had also machine learning, which I will talk a little bit about, but then we have research, different research technologies, and then we have a website as well, as I mentioned. Normally the projects don't have a website, they just produce the data, and now I know why they don't have a website. It's a complex kind of work, but thankfully we could do it. Yeah, machine learning, we worked on entity recognition and topic modeling. Sijal we have here, he will have his own presentation in panel 15. We also will have with us, for narrator identification, we have here Mairaj, he's not here I guess yet, and Muhammad Al-Kaoud will also be here and will presenting their own results. Machine learning is very important because when you manually annotate the data, the machine can learn from it and then use that logic to annotate further books. Otherwise, if you have to annotate all the data by yourself, it's taking too much time. For example, in Tabari now we have around 1 million annotations. It's huge. And half of it is manually annotated, which took a lot of time and efforts. And machine could do it much easily, but of course machine models, they have to be trained, takes time, need more and more data for it, and the machine of course make mistakes, but humans also do mistakes. A lot of mistakes are made by humans, but machine get better and better and better, and soon they will be even better than the humans. Definitely. So this was about this project, but we have something which is even beyond that, where you could just search about anything. It is now a prototype for the next phase of our project, and we would like, of course, about the earlier search engine, but also you would like to have your opinions, and you could talk to me anything, or team members, and new ideas, because it's our ideas, but the more ideas the better, because it is for all of us, not just for me or for our team members, it will be for all of the people, so all your ideas are most welcome. But especially about the next phase, the people who will be working with our project, with us in the project, they will have, of course, early access to this search engine. For others, it will come a little bit later, but we will have this in cooperation with some of our partner. We have this search engine, which is semantic based, and most important thing about this is that it doesn't search words, it search the meaning of the word that you tell them. So for example, when normally I search something, Umar, I get 10,000 results. I have no idea who this Umar is, but I want to find Umar ibn al-Khattab especially. So how do I do that? No way. If you try Ibn al-Khattab, you don't find Umar. If you try Umar, you don't find Ibn al-Khattab. He may have many other, Ibn al-Khattab, Umar ibn al-Khattab we know, but other narrators, you never know how many names they have. And because of this, it is very, very difficult to find a specific person. And this, you can find exactly the person, doesn't matter what is his name. His name could be ABC, his name could be Ali, his name could be Muhammad, doesn't matter at all. It had specific ID which will work. Same about anything. So you have these kind of questions that you can answer even with this database that we have. You can answer all these different kinds of questions, which is complex questions. You can read it here. I don't want to read it because of time constraints. But these are just some examples. But and here is at the top you have verse and hadith and commentary that you can search. And inside the verse you can have chapter number, topic, and you can have what exactly you want to search for. You want to organization or time or anything which you can get inside. And you have hadith, you find the rawi, specific rawi, and you can add more and more. You can find other things, person, anything. I mean, it's basically sky is the limit. There is no limitations on this. You can just do anything as long as you have annotated it. And you can add another perspective from, for example, I want to find a hadith from the verse perspective, that it should have this verse mentioned inside, or this should have these kind of things. Or you could say, for example, I want to find a hadith by a Rabi who was born in Mecca and died in Medina. So it will find you all the hadith, as long as, of course, that you know where the person is born and where he died, and you have annotated it. It will find it for you. This is, again, as I said, prototype, which will be part of the next phase of the project. How much time we have?
1 minute.
Oh, sorry, okay. So I'll just skip through the things now. All right, it's a team effort. It's not just 1%, 2 people. We have a lot of people who are working on it. A wonderful team. We had fellows, we have associates. All of them work with us. And of course, all of you who are interested could also be part of the next phase. Most welcome. Anyone who would like to work with us. And at the end, thank you all for your attention.